Welcome everybody to Saturday morning call, Celluvation call. I want to introduce you to brand new. Well, it's actually is I've been with it for about a year and a half, but for still to me brand new and very exciting. Our Celluvation products. And first, I have to make a disclaimer here. The statements made in this presentation have not been evaluated by the FDA. Nothing on this presentation should be construed as diagnosing, prescribing, or treating disease. It is presented for education only. Must legally warn you that if you're ill, have any disease, are pregnant or nursing, you should consult your medical doctor before attempting any natural or herbal program. We have here Josh Daniel. He's the creator of the Celluvation products. And what we're going to be doing today is talking about two interrelated products. We're going to talk about the youth crystals, and then we're going to talk about our brand new bracelet, the Aalere bracelet, okay? Josh spent 3 years in Southeast Asia researching natural herbs and botanicals, and our youth crystals are made in the FDA-approved manufacturing facility in California. These two people are really the smartest people in energy medicine that I know, Bruce Lipton and Dr. James Oshman. And Dr. Oshman says cells in their body are very sensitive to energy fields. Well, the surface of each cell has a little antennas, right? And they pick up frequencies. And our bodies and cells respond much more to subtle stimuli than violent stimuli. So this involves feather-like, very gentle application of organized energy or information. And like in Celluvation, we provide information via our frequencies that are encoded and that is appropriate to stimulate cells. Okay, so we have 3 petri dishes. Okay, Dr. Bruce Lipton, he took some multipotent stem cells and he put them into 3 different mediums, right? Medium A, medium B, and medium C. And what he found out was that through this experiment, it was the environment would actually change the stem cells into fat, muscle, and bone. So it is actually the environment that signals the genome, where the genes are, that control protein production and what a body is made out of. This is what actually happened. He found this out. It's called epigenetics. It is actually the environment influencing us. So how does this do this? Well, these signal molecules, they're attached with a receptor, right? And this receptor sends the protein signaling molecules down to the genome. And then the genome, like a factory, produces what is necessary on the outside of the environment. So it is really, really cool system. It was thought for many, many years that the genome was, you were born with this, you're born with your genes, and you couldn't change your outlook for the rest of your life. Well, that's absolutely not true. It's just the opposite. It's whatever is outside your environment changes what your body is. So DNA is controlled by signals from the outside of the cell, including energetic messages emanating from our thoughts. Now imagine that. You are what you think. Now that's pretty scary sometimes. So we gotta try do yoga, meditation, get into our own zone, our own natural good thoughts, our own create, and that is actually you. Anything that is not good or happy or vibrant or energetic, that is not you at all. That is a whole nother discussion. But I just want to let you know, if you are happy and excited mentally, that is actually you as a being, because that is native state. That is actually native state. So if you diverge from that, you're actually going away from native state. We have Celluvation products are most advanced nutraceutical on the product. And what we do, we imbue our crystals, like the youth crystals, and our bracelet with these frequencies, wonderful frequencies, to change our bodies for the better. What we are saying is we are a combination of chemistry, physics, and computer science. Okay, with the youth crystals, we're made out of organic Baobab fruit, organic Rooibos tea, organic acerola cherry, silica from bamboo. Remember computer chips? What they're made out of? They're made from silica, right? They store information and data and pictures. And how, you pick up a piece of plastic that has silicon chips in it, and it stores all your data, all your files, all your memory, all your pictures that you take. How does it do that? I don't even have a clue, but Josh does, right? So he took this technology that he was in the film industry, and he layered this technology into our crystals, just like you layer, when you make a film, when he was in the movie industry. And these crystals, we also imbue with frequencies, 191 amino acids, glutathione, vitamin C, hydrogen, collagen. And also, I don't have one listed here, a very important one that will tie us into the bracelet is called oxaloacetate acid. It's a very, very good molecule that is part of the energy system in the body called the Krebs cycle. And what happens is it's actually a part of the energy producing mechanism in our body. Very, very important. And we have this as our frequency in our youth crystals, okay? And this stimulates mitochondrial production. Just remember this. It stimulates mitochondrial production and also their health and longevity. So the biogenesis of mitochondria and their health and longevity. Very, very key on how this links with our further discussions, okay? So this is what happens with our beautiful intestinal walls. They get rebuilt, they get replenished with our youth crystals, right? This here is not 80% of your immune system, or 70 to 80%, whatever number you want to take. It is here in our immune system, and this is what protects us. This is what, when you take food in, it is the first thing that kills off any kind of pathogens. It doesn't let anything go inside the rest of your body. It's like an enclosed container. It's an enclosed tube, and this is what's inside the tube, right? And the more you have this healthy, the more proteins and more assimilation of nutrients you're going to get from all your food that you eat. So you could eat the same amount of food and have a healthy colon, for example, the alimentary canal, like this shown here. You will be vibrant, you will be energetic. If this is sick and is full of holes and is full of porosity, and it's called creation of something like leaky gut, because of, for example, like glyphosates in our food, care of our good friend Monsanto and so forth, these glyphosates destroy the intestinal walls, right? Anything like that is sprayed with that poison, it destroys our intestine. And then glyphosate is a double whammy. It also is a carrier of aluminum into your brain, right? Like there you go, Alzheimer's and all that kind of precipitory mental diseases, right? So where do we get our fruit from? From these huge, humongous trees. Look at this. Look at the girth on that tree. These things can stand 30 meters high. You see those people there on the road there? See? These things are full of life, right? And what are they? They hang on the tree like for 6 months, drying, okay? And these are awesome. And this is what it looks like, actually, the fruit inside. It contains as much vitamin C as oranges, 6 times as much vitamin C as oranges. And women use it to keep themselves beautiful. Look at this beautiful lady here. And for longevity of life, right? It's really, really good. And also Rooibos tea. Rooibos tea we have in our youth crystals. It alleviates pain. It builds strong bones. For digestion, 1-for-1 digestion is improved that everybody have put on this product, right? And we have people have been on, since I've been on it from day one, for 1.5 years, still drinking this product religiously. It helps with plumping your cells. Oh, here's an example. A doctor, over 35 years experience, and this is just on youth crystals, okay? This is over a 2-month period just being on youth crystals. A medical doctor, she is a prominent medical doctor in Kiev. I met her when I went and we did a seminar over there. And here we have a combination of our gel number 2, which is a topical gel application, right? And 2 weeks on youth crystals, and then gel number 2 for 7 days. Now look at the difference, folks. Now, as distributors, cannot you sell this? I'm telling you, this is you just show this picture. Hey, do you want to look like this? Bam. Okay. And we have also the strongest woman in the world taking, Olga Lachak. Okay, she takes the crystals. But also that gorgeous looking woman on the top right hand over there, she won the beauty, the bodybuilding aspect, and she's also on our youth crystals also. And you know who that guy is. He's kind of kind of famous. Okay, we use a tool, a doctor in Australia, called the bioimpedance analysis, and it's an accurate measurement of how youth crystals change intracellular and extracellular fluid. That means intracellular water that is inside the cell, outside the cell, right? Extracellular water. Okay. And the cause of dehydration, major causes of disease is dehydration, right? So this is often, let's say, when we have electrolyte overload, that when too much electrolyte, not enough water, we get electrolyte stress in our body. Means that you have an excess of certain mineral salts and deficient amount of fluids in the cells, right? This often results in high blood pressure. High blood pressure because you got not enough fluids in your cells, and elevated abnormal pulses as well as edema. Tissue filling up with fluid. These cells aren't hydrated. They're just not functional anymore, right? Non-functional cells accompany this is high blood volume as well as excess mineral salts. Tissue fluids increase stress on the heart, kidneys greatly contribute to cardiovascular disease, right? This is what a dried up cell looks like, right? We don't want our cells looking like that. But and imagine, let's go back to this. Imagine a nutrient trying to go through that outer perimeter of that cell. It's impossible, right? And thereby there's actually a dwindling spiral, no hydration. So this is what our youth products do. They hydrate the cell, make them plump grapes, right? And this is a graphic illustration, 5% increase in intracellular water, I should say, and decrease of extracellular water. So 5% increase of water inside the cell and the decrease of outside the cell. This is proven with a clinical trial. And benefits of stating hydrated muscle, fuel, cleaner skin, joints are greased. It is fatigue buster, right? And a blood normalizer. And also we put in our youth crystals hydrogen. And also we're going to be talking about our, just remember our bracelet, it has hydrogen frequency in it. What does hydrogen do? H2 is used as an effective antioxidant therapy. It fuses across membranes really well, and it handles RS, reactive oxygen species. Now this is reactive oxygen species is basically free radicals that happen inside the cell, and they happen inside a unit of the cell called the mitochondria. Hydrogen stimulates the NRF2 pathway. NRF2 pathway creates more glutathione inside this nucleus of the cell. And it's also inside of our mitochondria that are energy-producing units, like glutathione catalase and superoxide dismutase. These are antioxidants that are created. Glutathione is the master antioxidant, right? This master antioxidant contributes, it's produced inside the cell. That means endogenous antioxidants, produced inside your liver. And it helps to create vitamin C and vitamin E, right? So this is the cellular hydration. This is the difference, right? This is the most advanced 5G protection on the planet, right? So this bracelet, as you see up there in the little picture above that beautiful looking woman, it has imbued into the stainless steel of the bracelet, anti-2G, anti-3G, anti-5G. It's imbued with a beautiful antioxidant boost. Also the Schumann frequency. The Schumann frequency is the frequency of Mother Earth, because when you're walking around with bare feet, okay, this is very important on the planet, especially when you go to the beach, you get infused with free electrons and you dump all your EMF, RF out of your body, right? Everybody should be sleeping on a grounding sheet at nighttime. Like I sleep on a 3-foot wide grounding sheet, right? And I connected with the earth all the time. It's very important, one, to be connected with sunlight and be connected with Mother Earth. And you understand why. So we imbue into our bracelet, okay, wonderful frequencies like I mentioned. And we already know that the outside of the body, outside of the cells, are susceptible to frequencies. And we put these subtle frequencies into our bracelet. Same thing, these frequencies activate receptors on the surface of every cell. And this is throughout the body, and especially if you put it on your left wrist and your right ankle, if you wear 2 bracelets, for example, you will activate all the meridians, all the acupuncture meridians. Like, for example, on your wrist, you have large intestine, small intestine, which is your immune system, right? You have the pericardium, which is surrounding your heart. You have the heart channel. You have the lung channel, right? And Sanjiao. Sanjiao is called the triple burner in Chinese medicine. Anyways, what happens is now modern technology, we want to have faster computers, faster moving television screens. We want to get better reception in places we can't achieve. Now that is all good, but we're going it in the wrong way, right? And they're instituting 5G across the board, and they want to put 5G in all our cars, on our airports, in baseball stadiums, football stadiums, in our trains. These towers are going to be radiating us with this 5G frequency. Now, what does this all do? Here is an example of a poor little tree. You have to understand this, like even plants have mitochondria in them, okay? They have these little cells that produce energy, right? So this is what happens. Very, very similar. We're very, very similar structure to plants on our bodies, right? So this is what happens with a plant with its by a smart meter. This is exactly what's being happened to inside of our bodies when we are not protecting ourselves from all these aberrant electrical flows, right? Okay, and again, we put hydrogen into our bracelet, which helps produce glutathione catalase and superoxide dismutase. Very important. Same thing. So you see, there's a parallel. There is like an overlap with the youth crystals that we take and the bracelet. Very, very important, right? And of course, it produces helps also your liver, like we discussed earlier. Now, there has actually been actual tests done with Wi-Fi radiating rats, okay? And it has been proven via clinical trials, and there's thousands of these medical research tests, right? Now, they decrease SOD, decrease catalase, and they decrease glutathione. They actually, Wi-Fi decreases that in your body production. So when you're near a cell phone or you're doing things with your cell phone, please don't put a cell phone to your head. Use a wire, use like earpods or something like that. And any kind of signal into your head, like Bluetooth and all that, do away with that. Do away with that, okay? So that's also, Wi-Fi causes impaired insulin secretion by the pancreas, right? It's been clinically proven in this study that insulin secretion, and this means, look how many diabetics are out there. Why there's so much diabetes out there in the world, right? Because they have impaired insulin secretion and also insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is part 2 of that. Okay, so it's actually been proven. We don't have to prove it. There's clinical trials that already prove this, okay? Now, this is an example of what happens when you put out a little bracelet. You see, this is actually my body, and I put myself in front of a thermal imaging scan, right? And you can see the inflammation on my chest before and after, and the front and the back. And you see how much inflammation reduced. This was in a matter of minutes this happened, right? But I think about 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes around there, okay? Same thing, look at what happened with my legs. And notice the top left picture there is below the knees. That's actually sunburn. I actually had a sunburn. I was out on the veranda playing with my puppy that day, and I burnt myself. Anyways, you see, it even took the inflammation process of sunburn away, right on the lower left. The red you see around my knees is actual chronic damage that I did when I was in marine construction for 30 years and froze my body in 25 and 30 degree below weather, right? Young lad out there on the ocean, on the high seas. Anyways, here's another result of our earlier bracelet, right? So this result occurred because I went over to my friend's place. I said, listen, you guys have to try this bracelet 2 weeks ago. They tried it, they liked it, they ordered another bracelet. So they're wearing 2 bracelets here, right? Their blood pressure, Anita, for example, it stayed the same, 95 over 50, 95 over 50. Beats per minute down to 67 per 70, right? Trudy went from 119 over 80 to 108 over 73. And Irma, same thing, went down, 118 over 87 to 86 over 58. Okay, And this is Maryland high blood pressure. 148 over 104 brought it down to 137 over 90. And this is within like 2-3 minute period. So we found out with my wife and myself that this stuff is cumulative. This uh, the function of our Aalere bracelet, plus we're taking the youth crystals, it's cumulative because we got actually stronger as we progressed. Here's a test done with my doctor. It's actually use a dynamometer, right? The doctor, he pulled 110 pounds without the bracelet, and he pulled 120. So he increased in 9% in his strength just putting the bracelet on. And me, a 67-year-old man, I pulled 70 pounds and I pulled 80 pounds after. That was a 14% improvement in strength. So it not only protects you, but also it helps you be stronger. And we get into why you become stronger, right? That's the Aalere bracelet there, right? So now I wanted to get into something here. I don't know, this was not the right slide that I pulled up because I was in a hurry. So I'm going to have to find the correct slide, guys. That I finally got the correct slide here. As you can see, folks, harmful EMF causes mutation of mitochondrial DNA. But what does that produce? This produces mitochondrial disease, and this can cause a vast array of health concerns, including fatigue, weakness, metabolic strokes, seizures, cardiomyopathy, arrhythmias, developmental or cognitive disabilities, diabetes mellitus, impairment of hearing, vision, growth, liver, gastrointestinal or kidney function, and more. Okay, so what has happened to our bodies over the last 100 years? This is a picture of what our cell looks like. Mitochondria is these little units right here. You see this little unit here and this little unit here, right? There's two of them in this cell. Red blood cells, for example, have no mitochondria in them whatsoever. A heart cell would have 5,000 of these units in one cell. One cell has 5,000 of these units. Imagine that. And we have trillions of cells. So actually, we have more mitochondrial DNA than we actually have nucleus DNA. You see, here's nucleus right here. This is the nucleus of your cell. This is where your DNA is. This nucleus DNA will give you the blue eyes, the brown hair, the blonde hair. Mitochondrial DNA is necessary for the production of energy. Okay, so you have actually two sets of DNA in each single cell. Okay, two sets: the nucleus and the mitochondrial DNA. Right. So what is being found is that the EMF will actually affect the mitochondria here. Our cells, they are very receptive. Remember I said like accepting frequencies from the outside? There's something called a circadian rhythm, and these rhythms are actually controlling your body's metabolism, your sleep-awake cycle, and usually they're controlled by the perception of and or receiving light. There's little receptors we have in our eyes and little receptors on our skin that are susceptible to light, any kind of light, and they tell the body, inside the body, whether it's daytime or nighttime. So what happens is that this light affects how our cellular metabolism works. If, for example, we have EMF around us and harmful aberrant electrical forces around us, what will happen is that the cell structure should be at like 139 millivolt. Okay, 139 millivolts in the charge, right? Because of EMF and everything, that millivoltage will be increasing. And because that millivoltage increases, what happens is that, remember that I mentioned the reactive oxygen species or free radicals in your body? Those free radicals are also increasing. So what happens when the free radicals increase? They cause a mutation in these mitochondria. This mutation dictates your actual age of your body. You have chronological age of, from the day you're born to the day you die, like you're 70, or like in my case I'm 67. Every year, you lose 10% of your mitochondria. Every 10 years, I should say, every 10 years, you lose 10% of your mitochondria, right? So by the age of 60, you got 60% of the mitochondria that you had when you're a baby. And around the age of 60, when all these precipitory problems start to occur. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here some notes that I took from listening to a couple of fantastic videos having to do with mitochondria. So, for example, remember I said like a heart cell has 5,000 mitochondria in it, because look how much energy the heart needs. It's constantly pumping, constantly working. It's the hardest working muscle we have in our body. A female unfertilized human egg has, guess how many mitochondria? 3 million in that one egg. It has 3 million in that one egg. Let me look at some of my notes here, for example. Now, what happens is that this mitochondria, over the last 100 years, hasn't had enough time to evolve in the evolutionary scheme of things to our EMF and RF. Because before, in the 50s and so forth, cancer and all these precipitatory diseases, they weren't prevalent in our society. Okay, they were not prevalent. Just the induction of this 100 years of EMF, RF started to produce a precipitatory disease factor. Like, another thing is very, very important. There's a guy by the name, he's actually a neurosurgeon. His name is Dr. Jack Kruse. You guys should Google him, Dr. Jack Kruse. He's probably this is actually given to me by Jason Broden Smith. Jason Broden Smith is on this video that I was listening to. And it was part of this 5G crisis seminar that I've, over the last 7 days, is actually excellent. If you guys want to get that, that is fantastic, right? So anyways, he's talking about Dr. Jack Kruse, this neurosurgeon. He's talking about a thing called heteroplasmy. Heteroplasmy is or mutations of mitochondria over time. So there's actually a ratio of mutant mitochondria you have in your body compared to non-mutant mitochondria. So if that ratio goes over a tipping point, you start developing disease. So we have to look after our mitochondria. And guess what, folks? We have in our youth crystals oxaloacetate acid, and also all the beautiful ingredients and also the frequencies that look after the biogenesis of mitochondria and their proliferation and their health, right? And also our bracelet protects ourselves, protects our bodies from EMF and RF damage. So it's very, very important. And Jason Broden, he had actually about 17 different diseases, you know, from cancer to diabetes, a lot of these things, right? So he was living in Sydney. He had a high-powered job. He's actually an environmental, he's a double degree scientist, master's scientist, right? So he researched, and he like finds causes of things. He researches this Jason Smith, right? Jason Broden Smith, and he found out that light is very, very important. And he talked to Aborigines in Australia there, right? So he talked about what he should be eating, what he should be doing in the morning. So everybody here on this call should be getting up with the sun in the morning and absorbing that beautiful sun, because it'll start your circadian rhythms in an actual proper way, right? If you one of these night owls to stay up late and then sleep in, you're missing the whole boat. I'm one of them, okay? My life is going to be changing after I finish talking with you guys. I'm going to stop my bad habits. In the morning, get up with the sun. Get grounded. If you can get a grounding sheet, if it's like in Canada, it's cold in the winter, to get a grounding sheet. Ground yourself, right? Get that sunlight. Get the sunlight to your skin, turns a little bit pink, but not burnt, because if you want to burn it, that's going on the opposite effect. You don't want to have burnt skin, because all the sunlight will help the restoration of your mitochondria in your body. Being on the planet Earth, being in tune with it, like for example with our bracelet, with our Schumann frequency, right? That'll help with that also. For example, all your windows in your house also, they stop all the beautiful rays that your sunlight comes in, right? Right, and you get a lot of blue light coming in. Everybody should be getting some blue light blockers, for example. Okay, blue light blockers for your screen. Anything that has a screen or a lamp or anything is pulsation, electromagnetism towards your body. The only thing that doesn't, guess what, is the sun. There's no pulsations from the sun. The sun provides the proper frequency that your body needs. We should have computer cover. We should actually, if we stay a long time on the computer, we should have these blue blockers. The Jason Broden Smith, if you Just Google him. He's the guy. He has a sunglass company or a company that produces this thing, right? So anyways, a blue light blockers are very important. So the alteration of this mitochondria happens because of the EMF and RF, okay? And we have to protect ourselves. We have to protect our loved ones from this, right? And cut out this cell phone use that, you know, our teenagers have. Like they're constantly glued to this stupid little box, right? Playing games, you know, it is unbelievable what's going. They're walking down the street with their cell phone stuck in their nose stuck in their cell. Everybody is on the same page, especially like, for example, like New York. And look at the proliferation of things that happen in New York. The onset of stuff. Imagine being inundated with all this cell phone radiation, right? So get out in the country. Get your holiday should be in the country. Go and connect with nature again, and you will heal. You will heal your body, you will heal your mind, and you will actually feel better. Turn off that stupid news. It's just absolutely insane what's going on out there, right? Just take a break from it all and enjoy your family, enjoy your life. Now, let's see if there's anything else that I want to say before I end off here. Oh, yeah. Oh, another thing is melatonin. Jason Bodden, who is saying melatonin is actually created in the last 4 hours of sleep, right? And when you're sleeping, make sure it's pitch dark. You can't even see your hand in front of your face in your bedroom, right? Block out all sunlight, all like even lampshades or even like digital clocks. Get rid of all that, because that is receptors on your skin that pick up that light, and they correspond differently than what you should be. You should have darkness when you sleep, complete darkness. Oh yeah, also DHA omega fatty acid is really, really, really good. Oysters, raw oysters. Eat raw oysters, folks. They're really, really good for you. And let's see what else they have. Oh yeah, you remember? It says here, this is important. All our food and everything, all our intake, our food, our fats, our carbohydrates, our cheese puffs, our beer, whatever it is, our body makes it into, guess what? It makes it into electrons. And this is where we get our energy. It's called the electron transport chain. It's not called the fat transport chain. It's not called the carbohydrate transport chain. It's called the electron transport chain. So we have to eat really, really good food and healthy food, so it's broken down into electrons, so mitochondria will live and thrive. So as soon as the little mitochondria start to deteriorate in function, then cell structure starts to deteriorate in function. There's no energy for the cell to operate. The cell even collapses and starts to die and turns into horrible things, right? And precipitates disease. So we got to look after our bodies with our youth crystals and our bracelet, guys. And that's all I wanted to talk about today, and I appreciate your patience with me. And folks, let's show that 2-minute youth video and the 6-minute Aalere video to your prospects. That's all they got to see. As soon as they've seen that, get them on a 3-way. If they don't sign up right away, get them on a 3-way right away with your upline. Okay, and that is a very proven method of how to do this business. Okay. So we all want you to make money. We all want to help people out there. And so have a wonderful Saturday. God bless.